put diesel in the Prius, and she wanted us to give her a new car because she said that we gave her a defective car. I'm like, damn. And he's like, yeah. And the manager had to come and be kind of like, yeah, you stupid, lady.
Dude, you'll be surprised that there's some customers that go to the gas station with a Tesla. I've seen that before, dude. Like a customer's trying to figure out, like, wow. I wanted to say something, but I'm like, I don't got time to tell you.
So you worked on Teslas before too?
Yeah, there's something else.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're not the same?
No.
I would assume so.
The tolerances, I can imagine, are just horrible.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate them.
Yeah?
Because, like, once you work on, like, a Tesla, you'll realize how much shit they have, like, going on those cars. And it's a lot. Like, if you want to do an alignment, you have to, like, take off a whole bunch of bolts under the cover.
Oh, so that car is completely covered?
Yeah, just completely covered. Like, there's a hole. Like, they give you, like, there's no room to work on. Like, you would have to, like, put, like, like, if you're doing the toe or camber of anything, there's no room at all. You just stick, because there's a cover and they have, like, little hoyitos exactly where the adjustments are. It's annoying. I've seen it, and I'm just like, nah. This car is horrible.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, people like them, so it's whatever.
I want one. Not right now, but
Tesla, not right now.
Yeah, I mean, those Tesla little trucks, those look cool. Like
the ones that they lift from the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That have the opening.
Nah,
but what if you're getting robbed?
I'm waiting for that.
You're just waiting for that thing just lift up hella slow. Then I don't know, just.
I want that electric F-150. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's a good one.
F-150.
The Ford.
F-150.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of new cars coming out that are gonna be like that.
That's what it's gonna be, honestly. Like if you look at everything now, like everything is gonna be fuel cells and electricity.
Yep.
Didn't
they say something about that? Like 2023, supposedly.
Everything's gonna be electronic. Well, yeah, because I think somewhere in Europe they finally stopped selling gas motorized vehicles. Or somewhere
they're trying to do that here in Cali.
Yeah,
like the governor actually wants like all
exactly,
all like the city workers to have electric vehicles. He doesn't want nobody to have
You about to get the chip?
The chip?
You know, go to work and stuff like that.
What chip?
You know, the little chip they want to put in the.
Either you put it right here.
I'm good. It's already on my phone. I don't need
it. You have all my.
Y'all already tried me with the damn phone. Like why?
I'm saying.
Yeah,
you still need to know like how I sleep. Like I don't even know.
Exactly. No, fuck you.
Yeah, no. Supposedly there's gonna be a lot of new changes with this whole COVID. Like you know how they want more security, like more people knowing if you're secure. So it's like, how is that gonna affect the whole in the world too? You know, like cars are gonna change obviously. Now because of this COVID, like I can only imagine after COVID, after the vaccines, you know they're probably gonna. Is that gonna be enough for some people? You know, some people.
And now they're saying there's a new strand in Europe, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
So it's like bro.
And what still pisses me off is there's still people to this day who think it's fake, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But then again, it's like one of those things where it's like if it's not like near me, like it's not real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when people talk about war and everything. Like we know about war, but we've never been out to like an actual war zone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or where there's
yeah.
actually fighting. So like to us, it's like war is real, but it's not as real as like for like soldiers who actually were in war. You know, come back with PTSD. It's kind of like. We look at them and we're like, wow, PTSD, wow, that sucks. But we don't really understand the magnitude of how that has affected them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We just kind of see like shit through movies and like conversations, but it's not as real to us as it is to them.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy because as kids, we kind of grew up in the sky and we kind of just believed everything NASA would show us.
Right.
Like, oh, this is how this looks like. But in reality, it's like, this is how that looks like?
Right.
Yeah.
They could just paint us a picture and just tell us, oh, this is how space is.
He's like.
Yeah,
we don't even know.
It's like human organisms, you know, like they could be like, oh, this is what a cell looks like, and it's like,
have you seen it?
You believe it, but unless you're actually like in the field, you know, as a scientist, and you see it, you're kind of like, oh no, wow, yeah, this does exist, you know what I mean? But like to us, it's kind of like it's more of an idea than a reality.
Yeah.
Like either you believe it or not. In other words, it's like.
But yeah, one thing is true though is I don't know if you guys know much about black matter, but I was like reading a little bit about that. That shit is like interesting to me. How supposedly they think there's a space in space. There's nothing. It's just completely there's no stars.
Yeah.
So it's like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
That has me mind blown too. And somewhere in Europe they try to make black matter too. They try to like combine some molecules or some elements or some shit,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to fuck with black matter. Some dude was like, "Don't fuck with black matter," like like Elon Musk too, like dude, even him. So I guess he sat down with Barack Obama and I don't know who else. I don't know if you guys know this, but like he was talking about how nowadays they're even trying to fuck with Central Intelligence. Computers, and then they made 2 computers, Central Intelligence, and but in different like places, and they somehow figured out how to find each other, and they started making their own language. So they fucking just pulled the plug.
Yeah.
Like I think Facebook was involved in that project too.
Probably, bro. All these huge companies now, they mess with hella crazy.
He said he
shit.
was scared from the results he was, because they're like outsmarting the human. Obviously, that's the purpose that they're trying to get.
So I don't get it. Like to me, I don't get it. Like why? I mean, I understand the theoretical part of it, and I understand like it's for a scientist, it's more of the challenge than anything. You know what I mean? Because like it's at least I don't know, but I can imagine the scientists like don't make like exorbitant amounts of money. Like they make money, but they don't make like they're not like all like billionaires or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it's more of like wow, like the discovery as opposed to like does this really like have any effect or reason to exist? Because I mean like AI, it's cool. Like nowadays like we have like the form of like the Alexa shit and Siri and all that like the Google shit. Like it's on everybody's phones. You can get the fucking plugs now, so you can turn your lights on and off, like fucking your garage openers. Like it's all AI, but like, do we really need it though? Because we were having this conversation with my dad last night. We're like, he's like, yo, I used to go down to LA, bring people, from LA back up here. He's like, and I would know every single exit. I would know like where I need to turn, where I need to do that. He's like, cause he was a coyote, so it's like if I messed up, I'm going back, right? So he's like, I had all that on lock. He's like, but now if I go to LA, he's like, I need to have the GPS because now I'm getting lost, and I'm like, yeah, that's wild, you know what I mean? Because it's like it wasn't like that before. Like I remember when I was little, I used to have phone numbers memorized. Like I still got phone numbers memorized, but like to all those phone numbers that I have memorized compared to how many numbers I got on my phone. This is nothing, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Back in the day, I mean, that goes back to too when we first started having phones.
Yeah,
I would memorize all the numbers, how many letters would be in each number, and it'd be like, so that was
like in class, back those.
Just read it, like okay, I know where it's.
I hated that shit. That's always like the slide up text to text.
Imagine now, like the kids or whatever. Back then you had to like type like 3 times or click on 3 times.
Because you would know the letter too. You're like, 1, 2,
dude, they wouldn't be able to do it at this point.
Bro. They'd be like, what the fuck this? Give me my phone.
My little cousin and my little brother have phones, and that's wild to me. Yeah, so like my little brother's 7. So we were coming back from the airport, and he gets a FaceTime from my cousin, and they were talking about coming over, and I'm just like, and look at my dad like. Never did I have that.
Never, bro.
We never had that.
The struggle with the Game Boy with the little light over.
Yeah,
dude.
They don't know nothing about that.
Oh, sick.
Then when you finally got the advance, because they had the backlight,
you're
kind of like,
But then the batteries were always down.
Yeah. They always have to carry batteries with you. Now it's just rechargeable.
Now people be still getting the DSs though.
Yeah. I have a friend who he bought one old. Game Boy Advance again to play all the old Pokemon games.
Yeah, Nathan bought an SP.
Oh yeah.
To play the old Pokemon games.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And then what's cool is that I just got a Switch, so all the Pokemon you can get off the old ones, you can literally transfer them to your new one.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Cool.
So
but even that, bro, like the Switch to us was like. If something like that had come out when we were little, bro, that would have. First of all, would have been kind of like, yo, Nintendo is the future. You know what I mean? And second of all, that thing would have cost you like $2-3 grand.
Oh, definitely.
Because it would have been kind of like, no, this is like a game system integrated, like, and you can take it with you. Like the fact that you can take it with you is like.
Like I searched up that arcade game that we used to play on the bottom. Remember that arcade game that it was like
church,
It was X-Men.
The Avengers.
X-Men.
It was the Avengers.
The Avengers. Then they had a little basketball.
It was the Avengers. And
and then it had the basketball.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, Hawkeye.
The fucking yellow car. That yellow car game, remember? When you crash it explodes.
Yeah. But I was looking at the specific Marvel game for the arcade, dude. It's worth like five more than between 5 and 15 G's. But if it's worth 5 G's, it's broken. It's like you gotta fix it, and it's like what the hell. But it's an OG ass game that's hard to find now.
That was our game too.
Yeah,
I know,
took
bro.
it away. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, question. So there was a point where all you guys went to church.
Yeah.
Same church, like the same church.
Yeah, same church. Yeah.
Same church.
Yeah.
That's how we all met.
We're like
San Rafael?
hella little. Yeah, San Rafael.
Yeah, San Rafael.
It was like between like
I was
5
just
and
talking
8.
about this with Abe the other day because I was saying Abe how one of my coworkers was like, yeah man, I have a day one since middle school, and he's my only day one friend, and I'm like. Oh, like bro, I have like at least more than 10 day
Yeah.
ones,
Right.
and we're all still like hella connected.
Right. Even though we all like live separate
Yeah.
lives and shit. But
When did you guys play music?
I had, like for me, I didn't want to play music at all.
Really?
I had no intention.
That's kind of my thing too. Like my dad's a pianist and he plays guitar and everything.
Right.
He was like,
Yeah, that's my dad.
This
Yeah,
was
that's
all
my
Matt
dad.
too.
Like, he's like the leader group.
exactly. He
Okay.
was always there and stuff
Okay.
like that. But then once I guess like the original church in San Francisco, they split, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So my dad was like the only one with this other guy, but this other guy got deported to Guatemala.
Oh.
So he needed help. My sister started playing acoustic guitar, and I was like, my dad's like, oh, you should help me play too. But I didn't want to. But I liked rock. I like rock
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
metal,
Right.
and I always wanted to learn how to play like riffs and stuff like that. So I kind of like tricked my dad, like, hey dad, I kind of want to learn how to play
Yeah.
some church music.
Yeah.
And
But add your own element.
yeah, I wanted
into
to
it.
play like heavy. But then I didn't want to. I kind of gave up because my sister was better at it. But I didn't know anything about music like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But she was strumming, and I thought it was the same thing as playing like heavy, like metal.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then I just picked it up one day and started on YouTube, and then that's how I kind of learned. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Because my dad always, since I was a kid, pushed me since he was playing. I never
Yeah.
wanted to play until I was like, damn, I wish I'd started earlier, But
I feel it.
better late than never.
My parents
Yeah.
always put me in like lessons and shit. Like since I was like little. I still remember I used to take lessons from some dude in Larkspur.
Mhm.
But and I was like 5 or 6. But then like one day the dude just didn't show up. But he didn't let us know anything. So I was just standing out there with like my guitar waiting for my lesson, and the fool like wasn't there. And then later on they found out like he left or something like that.
Oh, damn.
So it's kind of like But then like they kept me like either from the guitar, piano, like a bunch of stuff, and then like elementary school, I played flute in 4th grade because I was
And
doing
then you
school.
did trumpet too, no?
Yeah, I was doing
Yeah,
school. I was
So you know how
in.
to play a lot of instruments?
Yeah, so I was in school in Vallejo,
Uh-huh.
and while all the white kids and y'all over here are learning the recording in elementary school, I actually had to learn the flute, and then the trumpet, and then I played the trumpet from 5th grade to 8th grade, and then in 8th grade that's when I started playing drums, and then that's when I just,
What's your main one though? Like, what's your main instrument?
I love the drums, but right now I'm right now I'm a better guitarist than I am a drummer because I'm playing guitar more recently.
Right.
But I play drums, bass, and guitar. But like I love the drums. Like
And it's like naturally to you, like music. Do you say like?
yeah, I guess so. Cause I come from a whole family of musicians. Like this one too. Like we just come from a long line. Like I got family in Guatemala that's like our musicians. I got family out here, the musicians. I got my mom has cousins that are in like the big like bands of Guatemala, like the orchestral bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Fidel Funes and the Grupo Conejos.
Yeah. Good.
And so they're like musicians
They still go,
in
though,
those
they go.
bands, you know what I mean? And then I got cousins, like I got my cousin out here that fool he goes to Ebenezer,
That's
That
in
big church.
like the picture, but he goes to the San Rafael one. But that he's the dude that like if any drummer or other musician like can't make it for whatever they're missing, like they hit him up.
Yeah,
Like
he's the go-to.
He's the go-to. He's been to the Philippines. He's been to Mexico,
That's funny, dude.
Honduras, Guatemala, like everywhere.
He's
bro.
doing it big too.
Yeah, he's
I was
doing it
like,
big, and he's like the humblest dude.
Yeah.
But like so like my whole family, like all my uncles, well, most of my uncles, like they play some sort of instrument. Like that's how I started the drums because my uncle started teaching me.
Oh.
But it was funny because like all my family are church musicians mostly for the most part. But my uncle, he's the one who like literally like one of the first songs he ever showed me was Schism from Tool. And then from there he introduced me to Dream Theater. And then from there, he introduced me to like Riverside and all these other bands. And it was funny to me because like I fell in love with like this whole genre of progressive rock, progressive metal. And then like 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 I had to go play in church, so it's kind of like, I don't
Yeah.
like the church music. It's not heavy enough. You know?
Right. But you're playing though.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
playing. Yeah, but that's the thing that it made it fun for me.
So that's how you say you got introduced like to like rock, like to metal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was
like-
my uncle straight up. Like he like now when I talk to him, we talk about freaking like Chili Peppers or freaking Rage Against the Machine and all that stuff. Like he's like, yo, he even tells me, he's like, yeah, I want to go see them in like the city when they had like the first concert or whatever. Or I don't know where it was, but he's like, yeah, I want to go see the first concert when they had it out here in the Bay. And like I was there, like I saw them, like it was the best thing ever, and I'm like, damn, Theo, like I wish I could have kicked it with you sooner.
Yeah.
What about you? How
For me, wow. Like I had no intentions whatsoever to
Right.
play, like at all. Like, I was always that one kid to be sitting in the back at church, just
Alright.
see my parents do their thing, you know, like leading the group,
I relate to
and
that.
I will always have my headphones on, like. But then I guess my mom would talk to this guy here.
Yeah.
He would be like, "Oh, try to teach you." Yeah,
come
coméntalo,
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
They see me like
And I,
like big bro.
like I'm telling you, he's silly. Like I had no intentions. I was like,
Yeah, actually, he and I, like when my uncle first came to teach us, like he was there with me.
I was
like,
there.
He was,
His uncle taught me.
he was
teaching me,
there.
like, the basics.
yeah, he was there when we
Beginner
first learned the
stuff.
basics, and then he just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then like
I stopped,
Yeah.
and then like a year later.
Yeah, like
I
a
think,
year later,
Like a
something
year
like
later, I called him up, and I'm like, "Hey, you think you can just teach me? I'm trying to get." Back
yeah,
in
because
it."
like you guys had lost all your. They basically had no drummer.
They
and
had
then,
no drummer.
And his dad is the el pianista.
Right.
Okay.
And
So he was
he's-
te- yeah, he
so
was
he's like,
te-
hey,
so-
I need you to play.
Yeah, no. It started off because he was teaching me, and I just like barely knew a couple beats and whatnot.
Mhm.
And he had this kid in his room that he would be practicing in San Rafael, and at his old house,
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
he had his drum kit there, and I was just playing. I think it was your birthday party.
Probably.
I think or
Yeah.
something like that. My dad comes down. He's like, "Oh, so you know how to play?" I'm like, "Barely." He's like, "All right, you're playing the next Sunday." I'm like, I don't know what songs you guys play. And like, I didn't know,
Yeah,
and
he
I
was
had to
just
call him
started,
like,
yeah.
"Bro, I need help. You got to teach me these songs because I don't know." Then like little by little, I would
Yeah.
like get into it until this day. I'm getting into it heavy, just straight drums.
That's tough though.
Like,
This was crazy. That these fools, I grew up with them, so I was like, I remember it too. Like back in the day when we started listening to church music, the band that was there before,
Metamorphosis?
no, like
Oh,
when
I like that.
we had like the band was set up. Your dad was still there, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, your mom was still there, but there was always, you know, Kevin was on the trumpet.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know, she was over there doing this thing, and and it just sounded so like clear and
Yeah, yeah,
dope
yeah.
all the time. So I remember like we would even like run around and like depending on what's on the play.
Yeah, it's because
Start doing
we
crazy
didn't
shit.
really gave that much attention when we were younger
Yeah.
until like we got older and we were like, damn, it's a lot of work. Honestly, playing like at a church because there's so many responsibilities.
Dude,
You
like,
have
I,
no
like,
idea.
I had to step down, like, because, like, I
Right.
feel like I was just, like, you know, just do it to make my mom happy and, like, to back off.
Yeah.
But, dude, you know, I'll be coming hungover sometimes and playing on
Right,
Sundays.
yeah,
dude,
it's
and
like-
I was like, but then I was like, yeah, I can't do this, dude. I'm
Right,
either,
right.
what's the thing? I'm either hot or cold, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking cold, you know? I was like, and that's me, you know? So, but,
I'm
yeah.
in that dilemma
Yeah.
too, dude.
Yeah, it's-
Don't worry.
Yeah. So, and that's why I like hold.
I miss it, though. I miss playing, like, you know how we got to, I haven't really played, like, for a while since
Right.
that one day, and I was,
Yeah.
like, rusty as hell. I didn't even know what's going on. I was like, damn, dude.
That like for
Yeah.
us, that's like for me, that's a new experience because
Yeah.
it's like something new. Because I've been playing all.
Yeah, I haven't played. We've been playing.
You guys ever
Sure.
been like in bands like outside of church?
Ah.
No. I mean, I've been like,
Uh,
this is funny. So in high school, like, I had a homie who would always be like, "Yo, let's do, let's audition for the talent show for high school."
Right.
So I'd be like, "All right."
There's
so
always a talent
yeah,
show.
so it'd be like
Yeah.
we'd either do like a Blink song or a Rise Against song, and
Oh, nice.
I'd always do the audition,
Mhm.
and we'd get in,
Because
but
it
it'd
took-
always be on a Friday, like
Oh.
the actual talent show.
that's when you
Yeah.
practice
And that's when I have
Yeah.
services.
Oh, service,
And so
yeah.
I'd be like, bro, like, all right, I'm glad we made it in, but I can't make it. So I do the audition, and then this other fool would actually play the actual talent show for me, and he'd be like, yo, and I'm like, how'd it go? He'd be like, yo, it was dope, like, what's his face? Like, he played it well, but like, it would have been cool if you were there. I'm
Let
like,
me ask you a question.
yeah,
What if you would have at that point? What if you would have told your parents like, hey, I don't want to, or you would have told like the music leader like, hey, can I get this Friday off? he would give it to you, or your parents would be like, no, you have to.
Bro,
do
it was my dad. I couldn't really like say no. Like I couldn't really
And
become like,
especially
oh,
if
let
you're
me.
gonna go. You're actually still gonna go play, but
Yeah, exactly. Like even now, bro, like I still get issues with that because it's like, oh, I'm gonna go play. Them like, where are you gonna go play? I'm like, I'm just gonna go play. Relax.
I
you
love how I
know?
can relate to this so much.
Yeah,
no,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
No,
why-
and it's like it's weird for me because like my dad's the pastor, so like I can't
Oh.
really be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to like, you know.
See, my dad's
this
just
one
the
spot.
leader of like the.
Yeah, he
the
got it
band.
easy. I don't even.
No, not that easy,
No,
dude.
it's just-
My dad, like needs to be more because like for him, it's easy for him to like be more comfortable with me
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like behind the kid,
Okay.
because he can't really play with other, like.
Because
So
they've been
you
playing,
guys
they've been
still-
played together for
You guys,
hell
there's
long.
no one to come in the times and like for.
Yeah, no,
songs
I
and
have
stuff?
some. I have someone. I have another drummer.
But you know,
She's
when
figured
you're
out.
in a band, you've been playing with people for hella long.
Like you know what
It's-
he's gonna do. You know what if he va a seguir, like go back to.
Yeah,
the
Right.
exactly.
first
Like
part
you already
and-
know how to read
Yeah.
them. Like,
Yeah,
oh, he's about to do this.
Yeah.
All right, let's
He's
get
like,
it.
all right.
You just know. You just know.
Yeah, we just.
That's the thing with me too, cause like now I'm playing the guitar and I'm leading, so like I can't, and I have nobody else like behind me. Like all I got is I got myself, my drummer, my bassist, and like 2 backup vocalists now, and like and I hadn't had another guitarist for a while until now. Like some dudes about to join in, but
That's cool.
so like if I wanted to leave, I had to find somebody to come and play. But I had to like be kind of like, all right, either you can kind of play with my musicians, or you need to bring your own people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and I've always been kind of like that, you know. I've always been kind of like the one to like take charge of all the stuff in the grupo, because I've been playing with the band since I was 13, and then I like they gave me like the position of director like when I was 17.
Oh damn, that was fun.
So and I've been doing that for now 10 years. So it's like it's really hard for me. Like you know, you do something so long, now it's kind of hard for me to kind of like I'm gonna take a day off, and it's kind of like. But they need me, you know what I mean?
Because
So,
you
like,
know it's gonna sound like, oh,
yeah,
damn.
it's kind of like what are they gonna say? Like,
So I'm pretty sure you've had people like, oh, you're a pastor's son. Like, oh, so do you help out in this? Do you help out in that?
yeah,
You get that common question.
yeah, I get that all the time.
I get that common question too. One time this guy was like, oh, you're a pastor's son? I'm like, yeah. Are you in el grupo? I'm like, no. Are you a youth leader? No. Do you play an instrument? Yeah. He asked me if I played an instrument in church, and I was like, yeah. He's like, what instrument? Mis manos.
You'd be clapping them.
He was like, wow. But you know, like, and I, you know, that's why Alvin was like, oh, that's what you. It was supposed to be, but
Yeah,
see, that's why I feel like I don't know. I just didn't fit in with the whole music or.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I tried picking up guitar for a little bit. This guy tried showing me. He showed me
I mean,
tabs.
you kind of had it.
I
Like
had
he had
it.
some
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, better than nothing. I was-
Yeah.
He's like, for a beginner, he's like,
Yeah.
what's
Once
that?
tres, you know.
I kind of just like gave up on it, and then I remember I tried piano too, gave up on it, and then that's when right now at the church they need a bassist, and then my uncle's on the bassist but no one's on the guitar.
Nah.
I think no one's on the guitar, and he'd rather play guitar than bass.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps telling me like learn the bass.
I'm like,
You know, other than Canchola too, telling me
Yeah.
learn the bass too, and I'm like,
Shout out
well,
Canchola.
eventually, yeah.
oh yeah, shout out to him.
And eventually, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But I did learn. I did enjoy learning tabs, and then ever since I heard you guys play live, like on the bass, like how the bass sounds, I was like, damn. So I started paying more close attention to the bass on some songs. I was like, oh damn, that's
It's
so
fun,
cool.
bro. Like
Yeah.
once you, that's the thing. Like getting through like the basics, cause it's kind of like when you go to elementary school and you're like just doing the A's all over, like over and over. You're just kind of like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like why do I gotta keep doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
But then once you can actually like write stuff like whatever, you're just kind of like I don't even gotta think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
it's crazy how some people just pick it up naturally, you know?
Yeah.
bro. That's what I'm saying. Like my cousin, bro,
Yeah.
he's been playing since he's like 5,
Not to
and
me, also,
now he's like 21.
That's why
That
sometimes
boy
I
is
wish I could just
wild.
go back to like
Yeah,
the younger man and just be on drums.
My other
Just
question
start
is,
learning
because
how-
it's bound to happen too, is that there is gonna be a point where we're gonna see the church change. You know what I'm saying? Like people are gonna get old. You know, one day it's gonna boom, 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 boom. So like this is what I think about the other day. Like just how I was a little kid in church looking up at like covens and shit.
Mhm.
That's the same thing I see in my church. These little kids, like my little cousins, looking up and just like, and I'm like always thinking like, I wonder how it's gonna be for them growing up in church. Because with us, we kind of grew up in church, but as time kept going on, like I feel like over the years it just kept changing.
I feel like back then it was more strict on us
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Much stricter than the
Hella
kids
strict back
they,
then.
Back then,
they
but-
have now.
So this was crazy. So our church, they would do this thing every Christmas where they would buy all the kids in church toys.
Yeah.
So everybody would put in money and get us toys. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but that Christmas was the dopest Christmas because we all got like Pokemon stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Posters.
Yeah.
And we got like these dope ass toys. And then like a couple months later, Pokemon's bad. Like
I
I
know,
know.
we had to destroy everything. They
It's like-
literally had
it's
like a
like-
big ass bonfire, and everyone's like, "Throw your stuff in there."
They're
and
like,
then-
nope. He's like,
And it
hey,
was
throw
kinda
this.
like, I remember one time we went to a retiro, and to this church in Woodland. It's like hella out, like in the middle of nowhere. And it was hella funny because like I was part of like the grupo de líderes, right? And I was rooming with Sergio,
oh yeah.
and I was in there with Sergio, and then what's that fool's name? The tall dude,
Giovanni?
Giovanni,
Gio?
Giovanni, and the other fool.
Alan?
Is that his name? Alan?
The Colombian dude?
No. El que siempre anda con Giovanni.
Armando.
Armando. So those fools, Giovanni and Armando rolled into the room, and I had some Spider-Man pajamas in my bag, right? And they had done that whole thing about like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the demons and da da da. And so literally like I was about to go to sleep. I hadn't gotten my pajamas yet, and I think Armando picked up the Spider-Man pajamas. He's like, oh, sí, estos son. Vamos a liberar a estos demonios, and he gives it to Giovanni. He's like, anda, tiralo. And so Giovanni I learned this after, like in breakfast, but Giovanni, he told me, he's like, yeah, like I grabbed those, and I was like, in el nombre del Señor, vamos a romper todas cadenas. And he went to go throw it away in the trash bin that they had of that stuff. And then the next morning, you know, we're eating breakfast, and Armando's like, hey, did Giovanni give you your pajamas back? And I'm like, no. And he's like, Giovanni, ¿dónde pusiste las pijamas del Mike? And he's like, oh, pues yo los tiré.
Look at this picture right here.
Yeah, man. It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. I was laughing because I saw a picture something like that where like there's this old lady and this little kid listening to music on the record player, and the old lady's like, "Esa música es del diablo." And then the next screen is just, you know, the devil taking the record player and the vinyl away. He's like looking at the little kid like, "Why you have my shit?"
Dude, I mean, there was even a time we were playing Uno, bro. And this dude came in at us like if we were gambling.
Yeah.
And he came at us hella sideways, and it pissed me off that day. And
Hey.
I remember I was supposed to like sing. Oh, that's the only thing I did. It was really sing.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I remember this guy pissed me off so bad. I was like, I ain't singing for you today. I'm with me here playing Uno.
Hey, remember that one time we had that one retreat, and my cousin Johnny, shout out to him,
Oh, yeah.
that he was doing like the
He's
The
doing
magic
the
cards.
hocus pocus thing.
he was showing us that
yeah.
magic cards. Like he was just doing like straight up like tricks, and everybody was like tripping out. They're
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit, how the fuck you do
You're
that?"
satanic.
He's satanic. And then one of the I forgot who it was.
Somebody.
Someone from that leader group or whatnot. And they were talking to him, and they took his cards away. He came-
Pastora.
Oh, was it Pastora?
It was Pastora,
Oh,
bro.
in that case, yeah, it was her.
Pastora was giving
They,
him hella
they took
grief
away
over it.
his cards, and he was hella mad. He's like, man, they took away
That's
my cards.
the thing. That's the thing about the church. You know what I mean? Like at least back in the day, like somebody would roll up and like say something. You know what I mean? Like whether it be kind of like the backwards messages and CDs or the cards gambling.
Like
and
even shirts that you
all
wear.
this,
Even the
yeah,
shirts
it's
are-
like all
I
these,
wear this
you know,
at
like
church
these
every time.
things are
It's like,
are calling
I really
demonic.
don't
It's
care.
kind of like, bro, all that was some ignorant shit.
Oh,
On
no,
the real.
definitely.
That was
Like
give you some-
super ignorant. Like, you know, I still remember like they do things where kind of like, if you do this, you're calling the devil. If you're doing when he says come he's saying Satan, come to me. And I literally looked this up like literally like a week ago.
Kami means God. Too.
Yeah, but it was just like, it said like turtle god or something like that. And I was like, really guys? Like y'all
He's like,
like y'all gonna lie to me like that and then look at me in the face and be kind of like, oh, you're a good kid now. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of things. That's why religion. I feel like religion in a way kind of lost its way over the years. Because imagine back in the day, way back in the day, even if you said you believe in science, dude, back then they will torture you until you said you believe in God.
yeah,
And
man,
then
it was strict
There
back
were
then.
some
That's
witches who weren't witches. They just knew how to use herbs and
Right.
and but you know they're just like what's it called? They're not called witches. There's like some I would call something else, but they're like pretty much they know about plants and herbs and all that.
Okay.
So and people would see them as witches.
Right.
Yeah.
Curanderos, no? That's what it's
There's
called. I
those,
just don't know.
but there's also like some real bad witches who are real witches, You know, obviously, there's always if there's something good, there's obviously something.
But then
bad.
that's also, I mean, like, you're right. Like that's 100% right. But a lot of the times it's also like people didn't believe that you can heal someone else unless you had supernatural powers or you were getting help from somebody else. You know what I mean? So that's why this whole thing, like, I don't believe like the whole like chants thing was something that, like if you do the chant, it was something that they kind of had to add in if you wanted to heal somebody, because it was kind of like, if I don't do this chant, they're gonna think I'm just doing some voodoo or I'm doing some like weird thing.
Right.
Like they don't understand that, yo, I just literally mixed like these two things together and it for some reason like it cures your whatever. You know what I mean?
For real.
But like people look at it like, oh, how'd you do it? And they have to be kind of like, God. You know what I mean? El Santo, whatever, or this and that. You know what I mean?
I remember there was a time I went to a bar. I don't think you were there, but this dude, I guess you heard me say something about God, and he was like, I don't believe in God, I'm an atheist. And I was like, if you're an atheist, that still means you believe in something. He's like, no, I don't believe in anything. I'm like, you believe in the Big Bang, right? He's like, well, yeah. And then you believe in evolution? Well, yeah. I'm like, then yeah, you believe in something you don't see.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a Christian
And in order for you to be an atheist, you had to believe in something in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's facts.
Because you can't be an atheist if you never believed in anything.
Yeah, and then plus, like, I remember, some of these dudes don't know, but also, like, I believe in God because also with the things I've seen in my past years, when I was going to church.
You guys ever seen some crazy stuff? Like at church or just anything?
Nah, I
crazy?
haven't seen all the crazy stuff that I know is through my father. Because my dad.
Most of the stuff that
Yeah,
your
dude.
dad see, I would see. Because
Yeah.
my dad would take me to those encuentros.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was like, man, you guys were like, you guys have to go through that.
Yeah, we had to go.
Like
through
I would
all
go
that.
to the encuentros,
I would hear it
but,
from someone else,
Exactly,
like,
I'd be
yeah.
like kind of in the back, like not even into it. Like
Yeah.
once I got into like my teenage years, that's when I kind of got like into
Yeah.
it.
It was always those.
But
it
by
was-
then it wasn't as like
So-
hardcore
Right.
as it was.
and it was always
So-
those late talks too.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a night where church ended on a Saturday, and my dad's like, my dad got a phone call. He has to go to the encuentro to pray for somebody because something went down.
Yeah.
And then my dad just looks at me. He's like, "You're gonna come with me, all right?" And I'm like,
You're like,
"Damn it, all right." So all I remember my dad showing up to the encuentro, and then like the door was open. He's like, "Wait in the car. You can't come in this stuff."
Yeah.
So I was like, and then I remember I just got out the car, and my dad even told me Mikey might be there because his dad is going, and I'm like, I hope so. And I get out. Nah, you weren't there. And then
My dad was smart.
the door was open,
Just for that to take it.
and there was this dude moving like hell crazy on the floor.
Well,
And then I guess when he threw up, like the bag was moving as he was throwing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? That was probably one of the things that Victor would see too back in the day. But like I remember just seeing like holy crap.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
That I've
No, I
seen,
mean-
but like I've literally like my dad has told me where like he's literally like had to pray for dudes who like their legs would like end up. You know how your knees bend like that? It would bend in the opposite direction,
oh.
and they'd be like crawling and shit, and like they have to like pray for them, be kind of like rebuking the devil and all that stuff.
That's wild.
Like it's some wild stuff. Like I've never been there, but I think, I at least like at this point, like where we're at, like in our church where we're at, like we're beyond kind of these things now, in the sense of like we're at a point of higher understanding. You know what I mean? Because it's not like hella like basic how it was back then. Because like when at least like when Peniel first started, like a lot of the people that were in it were like either coming from or like literally coming from Catholicism, or like or coming or coming from Central American Christianity, which was a lot like that.
Hardcore,
You know what I mean? Which was very much like that. And so
Very
it's kind
different,
of
too.
so it's like.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the old heads still kind of try to carry that on,
Tradition.
but like at least like I don't know, like I won't say I'm a scholar, I won't say that I'm like this person, I'm a highly learned person, but like if I'm interested in something, I like to investigate it, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And a lot of the stuff that I've learned about the church over time is like it's like there's a lot of stuff that is true, you know what I mean? Like the crucifixion, the resurrection, like all like the things that God has done, like I believe those things are true, but I don't read the Bible in the same way that like my parents do. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things that I read. It's kind of like, oh yeah, no, that's scientifically and spiritually sound to me, but like to them it's like, no, that's 100% spiritual. There's nothing like nothing like earthly about it. You know what I mean? You know, it's like when the walls of Jericho fell. You know what I mean? Like scientists like started investigating shit. And they're telling like, oh yeah, no, like when the people like did that final like grito, like it's like they literally created a frequency where like it like the way that that the wall was built, it literally made it shake and vibrate and like fall to the ground. You know what I mean? And like you think about it, like wow, that's like you think about it scientifically, you're like wow, that's amazing. And you think about it spiritually, you're like, yo, God does some wild shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you look
Yeah,
at it and
yeah.
you're kind of like, that's how is that possible? Like they just yelled like this mighty like yell, and then everything came down. It's like, yo, like God knows what's up. Like He's not making you do stuff just for like just because the hell of it. It's like and like even simple stuff like ayunando and orando and stuff like He's trying to get you mentally and physically right.
Yeah.
Not just like in order for you to become like spiritually well, you know what I mean? Because if your mind ain't right, there's no way that you can like you might like read the Bible and stuff, but you're not gonna be able to understand like a lot of it because like your head is just like I can't retain any more information than I already can. You know what I mean? Like if you don't fast, if you don't like pay attention to what you're putting into your body, like you're gonna be unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like that's just 100%. Like why do you think like diabetes and obesity and all this stuff is like rising so much like nowadays in the United States and across the world? Because it's like we don't pay attention to these things. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. I've had to preach a few times. And that's kind of what I try to like tell people, like, yo, like the Bible isn't just like spiritual stuff. Yeah, it's spiritual, but it's like it's 100% physical as well. You know what I mean? Because there's like so many things that like if you read them right, you can understand. You know what I mean? Where like in Proverbs where it says like where it says like guarda tu corazón porque de él mana la vida. Like you can look at that spiritually, like just that one passage spiritually, and it's like, yo, yeah, if I do things right, if I take care of the people around me, if I like try to be humble and be compassionate towards not everybody, but towards the people around me and towards the people that I can be compassionate to, like my heart will be good. You know what I mean? I'll be happier. I'll feel more relaxed. I'll feel more put in whatever you want to put in. Yeah. But then also, if you take care of your heart physically, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you eat right, you drink water, you exercise, you're gonna live a long, healthy life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but like a lot of times the church just always focuses on the spiritual and forgets about the actual physical stuff that has to happen.
There you go.
That's very true. That's very true. And then what sucks too is that always somebody wants to feel. I've always seen this too in church. No matter how like you can tell who's humble and you can tell who's wants to be just power hungry. Like, oh, I know I'm the biggest.
That wants to know it all.
Spiritual one here. Yeah. There's always that one person that wants to be that powerful. And then I'm always like, you're not though, dude.
Like,
you can't see. You just can't like. You think you're powerful because you see things in your own ways. Like, nah, like, dude, you have to open up the aspects of it. Like, there's more to it.
Yeah, there's more to it.
Right.
And that's how it's always should be, and it's been.
But the issue with that though also is that a lot of times we allow that to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we put too much attention on one person, and then like it goes to the head. That's why they have so many like mega pastors and mega churches and all that stuff. Because it's like, oh wow, like like with Stephen Furtick, like oh wow, his messages. And yeah, bro, like he preaches a lot of stuff, but he's preaching the same Bible that your dad, my dad, friggin' all these other pastors around.
Heard this message
like
1,000 times, bro.
But
like,
the wild thing is, like you and I, us here, like we can see that. Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't, bro. I literally went to go hear. This was maybe like 5 years ago now, I think. But I went to go see Santana speak. It wasn't like a concert. So he went to go speak at Dominican, and he was just talking about his music and this and that and the third. And somebody asked him like, if you weren't a musician, what would you be? And he's like, oh, I think I'd be a spiritual leader, because I think that as a people we need to be more united. I feel like we need to have more compassion towards others and da-da-da-da. And literally, bro, standing ovation for that.
Yeah, man.
And I was sitting down there next to my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I hear this shit every weekend. Like literally, like people, like do people not go to church like in this city? Like what's going on? Like
Because it was Santana.
But
You know,
like even still with Santana, like I was there. I like Santana
Yeah,
too, but
man,
fuck that. Like
yeah,
I already
I'm not
know
gonna stand
that.
up for this,
I'm not gonna
right?
stand, like
It's
I already know
hear
that.
this every
like,
Sunday.
Exactly. Like that has no effect on me whatsoever. But literally, like it was. I don't know if you've been to Dominican, but that hall that they got there,
Used
yeah,
to work there.
yeah, everybody was stood up and
You
was
were
clapping
just-
for the
you were
fool.
just looking around.
And I was
like,
just
what
looking around like these motherfuckers, like y'all need to go to church. You know
You
what I
say
mean?
the exact same things.
Yeah,
that-
exactly.
that
And I'm
church
like,
is saying.
but that's what I'm telling you. Like sometimes, like as a group of people, we give so much emphasis on like these group of people, and I get it, you know, there's charisma and all this other stuff. But it's like to me, I'm like, why? Like why do we need to push all these people, especially like in church? Like why do we got to push all these people up when we're actually all the same? But we always look at these people like, oh my god, like he said that. Oh, then that's, you know, then maybe I should do that. It's like no, like you need to read your Bible.
Yeah.
You need to come to your conclusions, because at the end, he might be lying to your ass,
Like
Yeah.
and giving you like this whole like speech about
one
something
thing,
that doesn't
too,
even exist.
I've realized too when sometimes God even speaks to you louder when you're alone anywhere. You can be any fucking where.
Yeah.
You just hear it or feel it like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do speak louder to you, louder than inside church.
Mm.
You know, that's why I'm like I don't think church is like pretty much a place you want to go to feel like, you know,
For guidance.
for guidance
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But that's why, like, for me, I went to my parents, like, I just don't think I have to go every freaking day of my life.
Just to listen
you know?
to someone
Like,
tell
I don't
you
think,
like how
I don't think God's gonna be like, you missed, like, you missed here, you missed
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Like I doubt it, and I explained to them, like, I just have a different, my dad knows this now, like, my mentality of how I see things isn't bad. He's like, you have good points. And then I'm like, yeah, I know I have good points. And then, that's why, like, even, people who are like worried about like Jesus coming, like I feel like in a way I feel like he said, or not said, how do I put it, like in a way he wants us to know that he is, you know, a God. And all gods have this thing in common where they always I think it was in Life of Pi where he said it, like, oh, like all gods pretty much have the same goal. They all have the same heaven. And then he's like, so I couldn't understand why he came to an understanding that all gods were just one God. And then I was like, okay, like that's pretty deep. So, and it's kind of true. Like damn near they all want the same thing, and then it's just like conflict over pretty much religion. But in reality, like God in reality wants the same thing, for you to just live with peace and harmony in heaven. Like, you know, it's just, well, some of their beliefs are not like that, but and it's just crazy to me that literally all these wars and all these things that are happening is all started because of religion.
Yeah.
It's just fucking wild, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I even told my parents I hate religion. Like, I just don't like religion.
But that's the thing, you know, like we grew up in religion.
Yeah.
But like that's not, honestly, like religion isn't what God wanted for us. Religion is something that again, like we made as people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like if you look in the Bible, like it barely ever like even like
about religion, right?
acknowledges
Yeah.
religion.
Yeah.
You know, it talks about coming to me.
Yeah.
You know, acknowledge me. Let me lift your burdens. You know what I mean? It's like
Do you
the,
guys ever-
the Bible is telling you like, yo, go to God, like look to Him, and you know, and He'll help you. But I mean, like, but nobody wants to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what again.
That's a
why
choice. That's what he gives you a choice.
yeah, like that's why we
That's a
have like so
choice.
many like people that look up to pastores and everything, because they're like, oh, the pastor told me this. And it's kind of like, yeah, but what did you read?
I know.
Like, have you read? Like, have you like even like looked into what the Bible's telling you? Like, what is? It's funny because like growing up, I used to love the parábola de los talentos.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like where like he gave one guy like, you know, 5
Oh,
bags
yeah,
of
yeah.
gold, and another one
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
And then I was preaching at it one day. I'm like, yo, like I didn't realize that God was telling me like, yo, this is how you invest your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you invest, you know what I mean? Whether you invest a little bit or you invest a lot, you will get something back.
Yeah.
But if you invest nothing, you get nothing back.
Yeah.
And you know, once you spend that, what you didn't invest, once you spend that, you have nothing left at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, there's so many things in the Bible that if you actually read them and pay attention to them, like, yo, you'll be like, if I had understood that like earlier in my life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably had a house by now. To be real, you know what I mean? Because I would have invested my money earlier, so there I would have probably had more growth now than I do at this point, right?
Listening to get a PSP.
You know what I mean?
Are you still on that?
Oh, that was hell.
Your fault.
That was hell.
But you know,
Made you buy a PS3?
No,
no,
So
we're at the
shit.
fair. We're at the fair, and I had $200 in my pocket, and you know we're playing those little like bounce the ball things off the wall, and so Jonathan Apulso, but homie Elvin, he did. So he's like, oh, let me do it. And so every time he was trying to do it, he was on the last one, and this fool will call him, and so he loses concentration and he mess it up. And then I literally put like $200 down to try to get the PSP.
At a fair.
Yeah, at the fair. And then we finally pick up and we're like, yo, you just made her lose a PSP. He's like, well, I didn't know. But you know why this was calling this? Because he ditched us to go be with Glenda.
You mean, shout out to Glenda.
And then when she left, he was like, where you guys at?
I guess Gabe hasn't
15.
changed. He always ditching for a girl.
Yeah, he's always ditching for a girl, bro.
Stupid choices when I was 15. That was funny, and then that same night, Owen ended up. Javi's probably. But yeah, he ended up.
Hey, shout out to Javi, man. I haven't seen his fat ass.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be watching this, but that was a funny events that happened that day, like
Bro.
super funny. Because these fools, not only did they lose those $200, they even went back to get monedas. And we found like
Yeah,
monedas everywhere.
yeah.
We came back with a bag of monedas
Really?
to
Yeah,
continue
dude.
playing. And then the dude that
Then the
was
dude on the other side of the booth, we told him because we had gone to him first, and he's like, "Oh, how much you guys put down?" I'm like, 200. He's like, I would have just given you one at that point.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's like, why
I'm
did you
like,
tell us that earlier?
that's-
Yeah,
shit.
you guys spent damn near almost $300.
Yeah.
I would have just gave it to you.
Yeah. We done some stupid crap when we were young.
And then that was crazy because we found out about YouTube and we were watching these dumb videos, but we've done crazier and
Yeah.
stupider things than that. Like we would to get in the fair. If you were under 13, you go in for free. But as soon as we turned 14, 15, we're like, fuck. So one would pay, or no, you would take a look because there was a time where you could go early if you take somebody younger. You know, you can get it for free.
We'll
So
take
he
his
would-
little brother.
Yeah. But then he would come out with the stamp, so he would lick it, and it would go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be outside
Yeah.
and we're just like,
Yeah, so
To
all
everyone.
of us got it, and then we all
Yeah.
just went in. Like first one to get stamped, we'll go in, get it, and, you know, so it'll
Yeah.
be fresh. Still.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then like we would fucking just go in there.
That was the hustle.
yeah, that was.
And then but it was crazy too, cause we would literally walk everywhere back then too.
Yeah.
And then
Get on at least one ride and that's it.
Me and
That's
Alvin would
pretty
do the
much.
furthest trip. Like we would take
Yeah.
the longest trip to get to your house.
Yeah.
Your house when you lived in Novato.
Yeah, that was a
Like,
mission.
It was a mission, dude. It was a mission. Like it just always
Just to
always-
hang out for like a
That
day.
shit was hella fun. I remember,
Like,
like one time I was
there,
taking
it was
this from
there.
McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
and then I forgot how the campus came up, but then I'm like, I would try weed. You know what I mean? And if, like I had the opportunity, and this fool like literally pulled out a bag, like fucking in McDonald's, just let's do it now.
Let's do it.
And I'm like, what the? Put it away. And then this fool literally called this fool and Alvin and everybody, bro. I know, like these fools were probably still in Richmond. In 20 minutes, they got to Terra Linda,
Like,
bro.
Yeah. No, because I was like, hey yo, so Mike wants to try weed for the first time.
Yeah.
He's say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more. Let's go.
And
Yeah.
then, luckily Alvin was able to catch I remember that day was all timely, man.
Yeah,
Like, Alvin got it to my house.
It was like God wanted it to
on
happen.
time.
Yeah. He's like,
We went, because I lived by Bart by the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, as soon as we got to Bart, like the bus just came, and we
Yeah.
looked at each other like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
He just got on.
he comes. He's like, all right, guys, where's the weed? Where's Mikey?
That was
We were
funny,
hella
man.
standing out like hella like suspects too.
It was fun, though. Those
That's
were the good
hilarious.
old days, man.
Dude,
This was-
it was crazy those days. We didn't really care much about religion, money.
Yeah, we were
stocks.
just we would
Bro.
what? Just play video games, talk about music, and just
What was crazy is that when we played video games, we would go to like an actual arcade.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that timeout spot in Northgate?
Oh yeah,
Bro.
yeah.
Yeah, arcade?
It was actually
Sound
good,
fail.
bro.
Was that place with pizza? No.
Oh, Pinkies, no, that's
Pinkies?
No,
oh
no.
man, Pinkies! Wow.
It was the mall, Northgate Mall.
Yeah, Northgate. Like,
Dickies was
and
the-
low key, we would ditch church just to go to the mall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or we'd had someone to drop us off. We're like, okay,
Yeah.
can you drop us off here? Just to play some arcades.
Oh,
That was
man.
fun.
Man, and another thing I remember too is like I would always not be home for a weekend. All the time will be whatever weekend will be, I'll be somewhere. Either
Right.
it'll be in Novato or at this fool's house.
Yeah.
It was mostly at his house though.
Or, yeah.
His spot was like the spot.
My house was HQ.
Yeah.
Like everybody showed up to my house.
Yeah, there was food. That's why there was food there.
There's food.
Your
The
dad
mall
would-
was
Your dad would
closed.
cook- yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, those asparagus on the grill.
Bro.
Especially when it was the
Yeah.
fair. Like,
Yeah.
just-
Oh yeah,
Everybody's
we would go
going.
to his house to watch the fireworks because
Yeah, you can get
Like
onto my
right
roof
there.
and then we can see the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It
dude,
was fun, man.
there was a
Oh,
lot of
those
stupid
days.
crap.
those
Good
were the
times,
fucking
bro.
days.
The times that we can't even take back, man.
Right?
Gotta
It's-
cherish them,
it's-
man.
Yeah, dude, honestly, because we're getting old and fat. But
Oh,
well, I'm getting there.
Talk
dude.
about yourself, homie.
Yep.
Any kids?
No, thank God.
Daddy knows.
That's right. 'Cause
that I know. I was
you're
like, shit.
27, you said?
Yeah, that's what
And
he
then you're
said.
26?
Yeah, I'm the young one in the group.
Yeah, he's the
You're what,
young
47?
one.
No, just kidding.
29. I was 28.
29,
Abe was
no.
28. Yeah,
Bro,
Abe just
Norm
turned-
was 29.
Damn.
Norma.
I forget that.
Shout out.
I be forgetting like the same
Wow.
year. But that's because, she has kids and all that. Thank God, I think.
Dude, literally, you and me are the only ones that don't have kids in the group. It's
I mean,
like-
don't get me wrong. A kid in the future,
Yeah, of course.
But right now, like, no. Because I have a coworker, like he's the oldest one in the group, and like he always says it too, like, nah, dude, like enjoy your 30s, no rush, because everything does change when you have a kid, like everything does change. Like Owen, he had his first son, and now he's having another one.
Oh, really?
Oh, what the
way,
hell?
yeah.
Really?
That's good, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
but every day I see him like,
Well, yeah,
The
'cause
same
I was
old
like
Owen.
40, bro.
Same old
I was like
Owen,
40 with
too.
kids.
It's like, it's funny because my parents thought he wasn't gonna really get married or anything. I honestly thought he wasn't
nah,
gonna
I
get
know he
married.
was.
Alright,
There's
well.
always that one person.
He's always that one
that
person.
people
He's
think
never
that
gonna make
they're
it that out of
fucking-
nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa, mind blown.
We thought it was Owen, ends up
I
being
thought it was
Kevin.
me.
I was surprised, dude. I was surprised when he told me that he was having a kid. I didn't believe him. I was
Oh,
like, stop lying.
dang.
Like,
Nah, I wanted kids.
Did
Did you meet
early.
your wife to church or?
Nah, I met her to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, she's the only. That's the thing, bro. If you're in church like your whole life, you can't mess with church girls.
Nah, you
No.
can't.
You just
I never
can't.
dated a church girl.
It's
It
like-
just
they're
it
toxic
messes
ass.
it messes everything up. And then if they're like hyper religious, it just makes it worse, bro.
So did you like eventually start? Did you ever take her to church like hello?
Yeah,
Sister?
I took her to church. I took her to church, not because I wanted to, but because my parents were on my ass.
Right,
So I was
right.
kind of like,
and I hate,
alright, fine.
I don't like the fact that it was like, oh, encuéntrate una de la iglesia and this and that. I'm
I
like,
hate that shit. And that's
I'm like, if only you knew.
For real.
It's like,
It was funny because my
It's
my
not the
wife
same,
would tell
bro.
like her nieces and her little cousins like be like, "Oh, find yourself a church boy," and I tell her like, "Yo, stop saying that." And she's like, "Why? Like like you're a church boy." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm a special case. Like I am who I am because like I actually I actually believed in all this and like I try to do shit right, but like not all church boys like
Nah,
like
There-
doing
yeah, come
shit
on,
man. You gotta
like
destroy your whole
right.
life.
You know what I mean? Like once they
It
get
goes
like a
both
little bit
ways,
of
bro,
freedom, it's
honestly.
like nah. Like
Nah.
you can't stop me, and I know because like I like Brian,
Oh yeah.
like he got 2 other church girls pregnant, and he was
man,
supposedly church boy
we're
too.
like exposing him.
And I'm
Like,
like,
it's like, for the people that are watching this, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
hopefully they don't know
bro,
none
his,
of them. He's
bro, like what's he gonna do? Hide the kids?
like, he's
But you know what I
probably-
mean? I'm like, and like he was a church boy, and I'm like you see what I mean? Like there's like extremes to this. But that's why I don't mess. I don't like people to mess with like church guys or church girls just because like I've been in church so long where I'm like I don't believe none
And
of
you know
y'all.
what, bro? It's been a minute, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's been a minute since I've seen a couple that both were in church. They both, met in church. Both, good,
You know.
They
Yeah.
were dating, so, and then they ended up just getting married, and eventually, and told the whole church, like, yeah, we're a couple.
I would not do
It's
that,
been
to
a
be
minute
honest. Hell no.
since I've seen that.
Those
what's
are
his face
the
just
names. Yeah,
well,
that couple that
couple
recently
just
got married.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I listen to his church because you
Yeah.
haven't been in church in a while.
Yeah,
So.
Honestly, I would never do that. I'm be like, no one needs to know about my relationship. To be honest, it's like
I
to the
want
point
people
where
to
I'm just
be
like,
into,
no.
and that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, especially for me, like being the Director de Alabanza, being the pastor's son, like having worked in church for like so long. Like all eyes were on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when the
like
people
they
found
always-
out, like, oh, you have a girlfriend? Oh, did she go to church? No. Why not?
Why
You
is
know
it-
what I mean?
it's like, how is that?
Well, like, why
It's like, yo.
why does she have to? Like, really?
Oh
Huh.
my god. This person's gonna be named anonymous. But like, yeah.
we gotta label all these
Anonymous?
people anonymous.
So like, dude, I remember them being like, oh yeah, you're gonna marry this chick, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's
Like, damn.
I always
hell
hated that.
And then
to
like,
be
it's
honest.
like, and then that's when I realized I would never want to be in a relationship in church because everybody is
gonna be
involved.
like in your
Yeah.
business,
Everybody-
stuff like that.
everybody's-
Bro, I got the reverse. Like, I literally,
the reverse.
my mom literally came out of her room one day. She's like, mi hijo ya oré, y esa mujer no va a ser tu esposa.
Oh my god.
He's like, how do you know?
And then literally, like,
Yo,
Oh, man.
like 5 years later, I got married to her.
So, how?
Yeah, see?
So it's like, so who messed up your guy?
you
You should have just told that to your mom. Your mom would have been like,
Oh man, and that's another. Oh, dude.
That's the thing about church families, honestly. Like it's all, and that's what I'm talking about. Like it's all hyper religious. Like it's
Right.
never just like, oh, you're in a relationship. All right, well, do shit right. You know what I mean?
Or go with the flow, and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I've got damn it, like dude.
Like they always say, put God
And then you
first in
ask
your
them, how did you
relationship.
guys meet? Oh yeah, we're in the baile.
He's like, I got her pregnant when she was 19 and I was 22.
Yeah,
Like, he's like, what the hell?
it's like, what? Like,
You guys were married? He's like,
it's like,
Crazy.
why are you giving me grief?
Crazy, man.
that's why when you're like a musician playing at church, you just have your whole eyes on you.
Wow,
'Cause
yeah.
we're the ones that, you know.
And they wanna see what
Everybody-
you're doing.
everybody-
Yeah, they want
cares,
to. Oh,
bro.
man. Dude, that's why it's hard.
I'm telling
It's
you,
really
bro.
hard, bro.
You know what? It was a turning point for me. It was and again, this is gonna be an anonymous person, but you guys don't remember this story. Remember that time I lit a match in the bus?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
What what irked me that day and made me realize like I'm stepping down was her response to me was, "Why are you acting like this, knowing that your dad's a pastor?"
Mhm.
That irked me to the point where like, so I gotta be some sort of type of way
Right.
and
You gotta act and dress.
And- yeah.
and, yeah,
Bro,
yeah, yeah.
when
Like-
when they did the whole inauguration for the church and they did the whole presentation of my father as a pastor, bro, I literally like after all that ended, I literally sat like at the on the steps of the altar, not because I was praying and shit. I was crying because I'm like, my life is over. like I can no longer do. And you know when it was, you know when it was all confirmed to me. When I went to go watch Alvin and the Chipmunks with my uncle, and they literally like gave shit to my dad because he let me go watch a movie on a Friday.
Oh my fucking.
That's
God.
why. That's what sucks, man.
Yeah, dude. No.
Once your parents
Bro,
are
it
like
was
a leader
it
of
was,
something,
yeah, it was.
uh,
Oh, bro.
I was crying, but not because of.
Not because of God, bro. My life was over. Like I knew it. From then I knew it.
And dude, check this out. So just cause, yeah, and I remember there was a phase around middle school. I remember middle school. You were young too, but they would always have, oh, you guys are pastors' kids. We had to, you have to pray.
We have to pray for
Yeah.
you guys because you guys
And there
are
was
the
a
future
time, bro,
generation.
where I was
of
like
all
this, and I think we all had to pray, and we just knocked out.
passed
Yeah,
out.
they
Yeah,
was
yeah.
And then
knocked
like
out.
they,
It was like
yeah.
friggin' like 4 or 5 in the morning. vamos a orar por los ojos. It's like,
like, dude, yeah, it
Dude.
was torture.
Yeah.
Me and Estrada, we would crack up sometimes. Like, well, it's
Oh,
like
these
it's
fools.
like literally like
Right.
praying, and there used to be this girl that had like a squeaky voice. And once she started praying, we just started dying. I heard my mom like me piscaba like stuff, but we were just and the pastor was like, once the pastor opened his eyes, he started rap.
yeah, yeah.
It's alright. It's like, I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
What
Just
dude,
start
uh,
laughing.
That'll be La Pastora with us.
Yeah.
When we,
Pastora.
she hear us, oh, come over here. Damn.
Right. Yeah,
It's a wrap.
yeah.
But yeah.
They were always on our asses when we were young. Like we couldn't even use the bathroom without having someone waiting for us outside.
Or like if you went more than once, they're like, oh,
yeah,
you're
they're like, okay,
oh.
you're not going to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I remember
It's
that.
like-
Yeah, they didn't let us out at the same time, and one time we
Hell
all
no.
sneaked out. We all sneaked out somehow and just ended up at the cherry tree.
Yeah.
It was
to
always
that
funny
church,
because I would tell my mom like I have to use the bathroom. And every time I never did, she would just. He's like, because I would find an excuse just not to be
Right,
like during the
sorry.
preaching. I hated it.
Yeah, man.
I remember one time my mom caught me playing Yu-Gi-Oh. with some other like.
Uh,
And so we're playing like in the benches, right? We're just
Yeah.
playing, and then out of nowhere, I just go. My mom was strict, man. She's
Yeah.
still strict, but she was strict about it. Like,
yeah.
you had to sit, dress nice, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I remember that too. Yo, they would still give me grief over like the dress code.
Yeah, I hate.
And
Yeah,
it's-
that's what bothers me the most.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm the drummer. I sweat more than all of y'all, if anything. And I'm just like, bro, if like, cause they build a drum room,
Yeah.
so like,
It gets hot in there.
yeah, it gets hot in there, and they put us a fan there. So me and Rachel, shout out to her, like we're like, dude, it's always hot. Like the fan barely hits.
Does she drum too, or?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
the drummer
she's
too.
drum.
Oh,
She's
that's
the
cool.
she's the drummer. She's the only drummer chick.
Two.
I know, and he
I
taught
taught,
us.
I taught him and I
Yeah.
taught her.
Shout out to her.
He's
So-
the Grand Master.
I'm
Yeah.
OG over here.
Sensei.
He's the sensei.
I'm still in my 20s,
this-
well, but they call me OG.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like also like real shit though. Sometimes I would get intimidated every time he shows up, cause I know for a fact
You
he's gonna
wanna-
tell me, he's like, this is where you fucked up right here. He's like, okay, I know you can do this better, bit. Yo, try this.
And I was so out of drummership, bro. Like they asked me to come play, like literally like a
Right.
few months ago,
Yeah.
and I was sitting in, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna play these songs," and I was like literally like 10 minutes into the practice, and I'm like, "Yo, Rachel, come take over," because I can't do this
Yeah.
shit right now.
And she would be like, oh, okay, you have to
She's
play
like, "Oh,
this."
all
Like,
right," and
and
then
then with me, he's like, oh, okay, where do I
where to come in,
where
where
to
to
come
come
in?
out,
He's like,
yeah,
where do I
yeah.
do the fill here?
Yeah,
This
You
and
know,
that.
you know when I ever felt like that? So you know, I was telling you like the church, you know, like no one's there, right?
Uh-huh.
So no one really had that experience with music. So we're just jamming out. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's like we're learning some Marco Barrientos, you know, some
Right.
Marco songs, and you know, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm playing, you know, the solos and stuff like that, right? But until one time they needed a guitarist and I guess like a singer from our
Mhm.
church for this retiro de mujeres.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. There's gonna be ladies there, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Don't
It's
be
like
Ladies-
every time they
ladies,
say,
Jesus,
hey,
like,
va a haber un
I'm
encuentro
down.
de mujeres, okay. Hey,
Solo
Yeah,
falta,
yeah,
solo
He's
falta
like-
la cólpera, you know what? Also,
As long as as long as they're not all from my church, like I
you know, I would be happy because I knew right after playing we would just go to the cafeteria.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
it was
'cause
like,
that's
Yeah.
it. You
That's
know,
it, we
That's
just
it,
done.
you're done.
That-
Yeah, yeah.
So the first practice comes, the guy's like, and I knew the guy was like, you know, about his music, like serious. You know, he does like all this crazy stuff on the piano, like he acts like he has all these effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we go to practice, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Or I forgot what song it was. I think it was like Camila San Marcos. What's it called? There's this popular one he had. One it starts with a piano.
Bien, y lluvia. Bien.
No, there's another
is it a
one.
fast song?
It's a fast one. It's really popular. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
something like that.
I think I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name.
Osana.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of the
Yeah,
name
I'm
too.
trying to
Like,
think
Yeah,
he has a
Osana.
lot of piano.
Yeah, he has a lot of like piano.
I'm sorry,
songs.
man, but so it was Osana, right? And then there's this part where the guitar does something, right? And then he did it, and then he stops.
You're
He's
just like,
he's like, I was like, well, he's like, can we run this again? And I'm like, dun. I go, dun, dun, dun. He's like, no, man, listen to the time, listen to. The time.
Oh my gosh.
But see, and then you know when I was like, wow, and I was like, I'm only playing guitar for like 5 years, pretty much, right? I was like in my second year, but and I was like, wow, this is the first time where I actually feel like, wow, someone's actually
Teaching
like,
you.
teaching you
Right.
times, because time is really important. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, of course.
And I was like, damn, and then I told myself like, how many times were I was just like playing like
Oh,
playing
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
And you would
because
get
no one's correcting you.
frustrated.
No one's
Yeah,
correcting
no one's
you.
correcting you.
And he's like, no, you gotta come on time. Listen to this. And I've been a person that when it comes to timing, I always suffered. Like that's
yeah.
one of the reasons I quit too. Like in the beginning.
Right.
But to me, it's like I gotta really memorize the song, like because maybe I can't get it at that when the times are not like different. You know,
Uh-huh.
Right.
I just gotta memorize the song because I know that's where I come in. Because if I do it by like counting, I'm not gonna come in.
Yeah.
I bet you not. So I had to really memorize the song to know
Uh-huh.
when I'm gonna come in. So it was cool because then I was like, oh, he's like telling me, oh, you gotta come in this time,
Mhm.
and then he told me about theory. I'm like, I never know about theory and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You know, so
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's
Just because you would just like, here you go.
I'll just pick.
Like you just
plug
pick
in,
it up
plug
and
it in,
then
Yeah, play and
and
play.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But then this guy was like, I was like, damn, oh my God, hey, are you sure you still want me to play with you, bro?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
no,
like
come.
that's why I would ask him like, yo, what does this say? Like I couldn't even read. I like to this point I still like trying to learn how to read
Right.
the note wise, and I was always just ask him like, yo, how do you play this and that, and he would put the click,
Uh-huh.
and the click would always piss me off, cause he's like, yo, you're play too fast. But
It's-
wait, you're back
it's
a little
tough.
bit.
It's
It's like
tough.
it's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
Like I said, like music is like, it's either your first language or second language, and I feel
Yeah.
like to me it's my second language. Like
Right.
I know people that just to me,
Yeah,
I have to like I could get it down, but I'm gonna have to
Like
be
there's some musicians that know how to read,
Oh,
but they
just-
don't know.
Oh,
ear.
yeah.
How to-
Like
exactly.
they can't hear.
Luckily,
Like,
I learned how to read, but I learned how to read drum notation, so that didn't help me for shit when I had to learn the basic guitar. But because I had learned how to play trumpet, like I already knew kind of like where the position of the notes and everything, so that helped me out to do that. But like I the way that my uncle taught me, like he was very like he wasn't strict, but he was very like keen on you need to learn how to read and you need to learn how to keep time, especially being the
Right.
drummer. So like that was something that he drilled into me. So but the funny thing to me now is that when I play drums, sometimes I like I can keep the time, but like it feels hard. It feels harder to me to keep time playing drums than it does playing the bass or
Bass.
guitar.
And the thing is, and then you as a drummer, you guys have to really be because
right.
in the bass or guitar, you might miss a note unless it's like a solo or something. But you might miss a note, and you know, but and the drum, you like,
Yeah, you
mess
have to
up,
really
fuck
be
up,
on it. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna sound like everything off.
Dude, man, I remember the first time I played, bro. I was so nervous as shit.
Oh, I was sweating. Dude.
I was nervous
I
as
remember
shit.
I couldn't look at the like.
Yeah,
you
me
know,
neither.
I was just like,
I would be
Yeah,
playing.
yeah,
I was just like,
I was like,
I would just play exactly what Mikey would teach me, and he's like, "All right, just if anything, just play simple."
Yeah,
Then later on, little by little, I
you
started
add
like
the
adding my
feelings
own
and
shit.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
ever seen Whiplash?
yeah.
Yeah,
Good ass movie, man. I
yeah,
love
dude, that movie's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. It's just
Wasted,
piss.
dude.
Like as a musician, you're like, "Fuck, they gotta play jazz."
Yeah.
Like, bro,
Bro, like thank God it's church. And then, but if they did like a church whiplash, you'd be kind of like, fuck.
even
I
the-
think someone did a comment. Someone did a remake of that.
Oh, yeah?
But a church wise, like a meme stuff. It was funny. I should
even
find
the
it.
music is just like now is simple than
Oh,
it
yeah.
was before.
Yeah, bro, the music nowadays is like so
like
fucking-
four notes.
Four notes.
and that's
Four
it.
note
the
stuff.
four
I mean,
note
the
music.
only thing that might be a little complicated for like to get down exactly is the linear stuff that they do, at least drumming wise, because like it's just getting the same
Right.
positions of where they're doing shit. But like it's like music wise, it's not as. I don't know, bro. I used to love the old Marcos Barrientos and
Yeah.
Jesus Romero stuff
he had-
because it
he-
was funky as hell, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like I literally have playlists on my phone
When
where
he
it's like,
puts,
all
like,
right, church funk,
Los Monos Gallos
church
and
Latin
stuff like
jazz,
that.
Yeah.
You know what song I always liked? And from Marcos Valentes, I'm gonna search it up. But it had like a cool like rock beat to it.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
It's like a bit like I always liked
Like
his.
it was actually kind of metalish if you really
Right.
listen to
yeah,
it.
One of his singers, we met one of his singers thanks to Tito.
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Yeah, I remember her.
She's dope. She's pretty chill, dude.
She
Yeah,
she
she's
can
too.
sing.
Yeah,
that girl
bro.
can sing. She's still singing with him, I think.
Like when I got into the double pedal, I didn't know what that
See,
was.
It's just so look. This was crazy. When I was finally like singing in church, is when the whole that thing happened. Where they got the churches, all like heck of churches together, and
Oh
Vallejo.
yeah, the campaña or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
yeah. I was like, huh? I'm just gonna lip sync.
They had me, play,
You
bro,
didn't
they
say
had
it.
me
You're
playing
just standing
trumpet, and like I honestly like I wasn't.
That's why, man.
They had me playing trumpet, but like they didn't have any notes to it, and that's the only way I learned how to play the trumpet.
You still know how,
Like
you
reading.
know how to play? Like,
Like I can like if you sit me down, like I can still like give you like some scales, and I can kind of reach it slowly. Like I can still kind of play it, but I'm not like super like strong at it. But I can still kind of play it.
Okay.
But they had me playing trumpet, and they're like, oh, you have to do it by ear. And bro, like I had never learned it by ear.
oh.
And so I'm like there, I'm like I don't know how to do. And so freaking Tony, who was playing saxophone, he was playing saxophone.
yeah.
And he's
Man,
like, yo, let's
Tony's
let's try to
Tony-
like do it.
Tony's
Let's try
good,
to
bro.
do it together, bro. But like I didn't have the ear to actually listen to the pitches. So like I was like trying to get it, but it was so hard. And then once I had gotten it, I would forget it. Cause like I didn't know how to write it down to like redo it later. And so when we actually had to do that, I was nervous as hell, bro. Cause I'm like I hope I play the right notes. And it was like in front of like hella people, cause we rented out the fairgrounds in Vallejo.
Oh, damn.
And that's
Yeah.
big.
So it was like,
That's when. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was 1,000 plus people that day.
Yeah.
Bro, it was-
We would be outside.
Yeah, you guys
That's-
were lucky.
yeah, we
Bro,
would be
in the
outside.
last night, the power went out. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
The power went out, and the drummer was still playing. Everybody was just singing, just like
Yeah.
That's right.
pura cappella.
I wasn't even playing back then.
No,
Oh.
you weren't playing that.
Oh.
I wanted to play drums, but they got Carlos to play,
Mm,
the Chinito.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh dang, I haven't seen that guy in a minute.
yeah.
All these dudes.
This is just crazy. Like I'm telling you.
Carlos. What was the other four you guys used to have playing the piano? You guys is the Flaco.
The tall dude?
Remember him?
Forget.
Un pianista
Yeah, Alejandro.
from Salvador.
Yeah, Alejandro.
Alejandro. That was his
I
name.
haven't seen him in a minute either.
All these fools, man.
I'm so bad at remembering songs. I'm trying to find the song, but
He's still on the song. He's like,
I remember when I first heard this Marco
Solo a
song.
ti?
No. It has a.
Is it
Is
rock
slow or
element
fast?
or like
It's
a
like
funk?
it's like a rock. It has like a nice like. Starts with the acoustic guitar, dun 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 dun, and then the guitar comes in like with the crazy as like, he's like palm.
It's like, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Oh,
It starts with acoustic.
Yeah, it starts with an
I've heard
acoustic.
so many of his songs, bro. I can't remember.
Yeah. Like I said, like all these.
Like I said, bro, all those the old songs. It might be nostalgia too. Like you're like used to hearing those
But
songs.
for me, I think it's more complex.
The older songs,
Yeah, the older songs, bro.
bro. The bass lines on a lot of his heavy metal songs, dude. It's
Do you remember that one song, Como Buffalo?
yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Dun,
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun. And then
Yeah.
that one was really nice.
Yeah,
They don't
dude.
make songs like that
And
anymore.
then,
Yeah, it's like-
then the rap in the
I
middle.
feel-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like I like stuff like that, like the funky groove,
Yeah,
and
bro.
like it just brings me back, and I just love that instead of these like.
Oh, this one. I'll put it for y'all. This one.
Oh yeah.
Cause like, hear the guitar.
Right. I like how like we play at the church. We're like, yo, you hear that bass?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
2015.
Like, you hear that? Like,
That if doesn't.
No, that's
bro,
the
that's
even the fills that the drummer does, it's like.
this is
You got that DW?
You guys really got Rachel VW.
that's dope, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Have you seen it?
She took post a picture. I
Right.
remember seeing the picture.
We bought her. We
Oh,
bought her a
yeah.
matching snare.
And it was funny too because that day, I think Mikey or me were like, let's just go to Guitar Center. So we went, and we're like, damn, bro, what the fuck should we buy? Because every time we get there, even the guys, the people that work there, they're like, it's you guys again. We know, we know you guys are
Which
gonna
Guitar
buy.
Center do you guys go
Conquered.
to? Concord.
Oh,
Yeah.
Concord.
That's how my dad was with them too. Do you remember? Do you guys remember like this dude? He was like a white dude, and he always had like this little like cowboy thing always hanging right there. Some skinny dude.
Maybe.
Yeah, he was so cool, but he hasn't worked anymore. He started working for like a speaker band or something like that. Yeah, he was cool. Like he was always hella like welcoming.
Yeah, well,
like
yeah.
trying to remember your name. Like, hey, how you doing?
Oh,
Yeah.
Kevin used to work at the one that was here in
Which
Richmond. Elvin's brother.
He knows how to play too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the one, he's the one who actually like helped me like after the Campania thing. He actually helped me to try to learn how to play the song.
Se perdió.
He's like, "Te perdiste."
Shout out Kevin. Yeah, I remember one time he was
Yeah.
showing me like some riffs on his bass. I was like, damn, this guy's.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah,
hella good.
he's good, man.
But
I remember he had his own
He
little
learned
band.
everything, yeah,
But
he
he's
learned
a
everything
gamer
but
now.
but
He's a
the
gamer.
drums. Yeah, he learned everything but the drums. I think he learned only a little bit of the drums, but he learned everything else.
He's a gamer
But
now.
Tony's stuck.
Tony.
Stuck to the.
Tony's
same
the
route.
Tony's
to be.
stuck
He
to it,
started.
bro.
He started way
Start
younger
playing-
than
he
us.
started
So
playing
yeah,
trumpet.
I remember
Yeah.
because
I
Tito
told-
picked
yeah.
up the violin, and I was like, that's a weird choice of instrument, I guess.
Picked up the viola, bro.
Yeah, viola,
Yeah.
way out. It's viola.
Hey, but like for real though, if it wasn't for Tito, like Tony's brother,
Mhm.
I would not be.
Yeah,
here,
if it wasn't
bro,
for Tito, I
to
wouldn't
be
be playing
honest
either.
with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my dad gave me the opportunity, but
Yeah.
for me to be able to play with Tito, and the way he like chose the songs, like, yo, we're gonna play this.
So-
that.
so-
It was very different.
Is this like a guy that when you play with him, you like it's like serious stuff, like you know?
Well,
one
he
has
made
to
it
be on-
serious.
He made it
He's
fun.
serious, but it was fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was, you knew shit was serious with him, but at the same time you knew like, but I can enjoy myself.
So
You know what I mean?
when you guys play with them, so we're talking about like decent musicians that they know what they're doing.
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Hell
dope.
yeah.
Like we were playing
Hell yeah.
like the old school Marco Barrientos to like
from 2011, the 2020 the 20-year anniversary album.
yeah,
Okay.
and we would play gospel,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
straight
yeah.
English gospel.
I like that thing.
Old school Hillsong,
You know what?
old school like Jesus culture stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it was complex stuff. It was fun. It was upbeat.
You know,
I like the
Ty
ones-
Tribbett.
Tight trip.
you know what I
Yeah.
like about the drums sometimes when it's like when it's like playing and then they go to like that when everyone's at the sando like it makes like the changes up.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
The rhythm.
The rhythm
Yeah.
changes up and like everyone's like starts dancing. Or you
Yeah,
just feel it.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
like,
we call it the chunga chunga. Yeah.
The jubilo.
The whole
Yeah.
thing.
just-
Yeah. I always change it. Like I get so bored. Like like when I play up like this, and then I just figure that's when like
That's when double pedal came into.
yeah, that's where it came into. Like I started adding my own stuff.
Did you ever play that Juan Carlos Alvarado like corrido?
Yeah,
the
the one with the
one,
double,
yeah.
the one with the
one
double
the
pedal.
guitar like in the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
and
yeah.
then keep on going. That's
Uh-huh.
pretty cool. See, I like
Yeah.
music like that. It sounds cool and stuff.
It's
like that.
cool because they had
It's cool for the people that are listening to it, and it's fun for the musicians that are playing.
yeah, it's
You know what I
fun
mean?
Yeah.
because the people over there they don't care.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest.
They don't know
care.
how long you had to practice to get this
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. And I feel like that's why we get more attack, in our
Yeah,
opinion, because we're like, oh.
and that's the thing sometimes, bro. Like I always get it because I'm like the director, so people are like, oh, why don't you do like this kind of music? And I'm like, well, I don't. Cause like again, I only have guitar, bass, and drums and vocalists. I'm like, well, I don't have a pianist. Like, you want to play piano? Oh no, you solo this here. And it's like, all right, well, don't bitch at me about it. Like,
Yeah,
if
it's
you ain't gonna do nothing, then don't come at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's the thing that's been with me. Like since I've like been in charge, like people try to like kind of give me their like try to put their opinion out and be kind of like you should do this, and I'm like, all right, well, are you gonna do it with me?
Yeah.
If that case, then don't say
Or
anything.
like, oh, we want to play songs like this. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's like, do you know how to play
I don't
this?
know, like,
He's
it's like they
like,
give me
no.
like the new Mia San Marco songs, right? But that stuff is like there's heavy like
It's all-
synthesizer
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Electronic.
and electronic stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I don't have anybody to like do the synthesizer thing, and I don't have somebody to like, cause I'm using my tablet to like read my sheets, and to like like, and I'm playing at the same time, so
Right.
I can't like trigger things, and you know what I mean. I can't be one man band up there. I mean, I probably
Do
could,
you guys have someone on the mixer or
but
something?
yeah, I got somebody on the mixer.
Okay.
But it's like
Yeah.
the person on the mixer, he's a great dude,
Mhm.
but like I'd have to teach him how to do it.
Like,
you know what I
If
mean?
you really want it to be specific, yeah.
Yeah, like I had to teach him like how to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so it's like I at this point for me, like in what I've been doing in church is like, all right, if anything has to happen, like I literally have to train I have to train somebody to do it, and then it's like, all right, hope they do it right. You know what I mean? Because then if they mess something up, it's kind of like oh well, Mikey didn't teach him right. It's kind of like
That's funny what you were saying earlier about how when like let's say you're gonna play right, and next
Yeah.
thing you see this guy's coming to church,
Right.
you feel like okay, the pressure.
Yeah, look, the pressure's on here, bro. Like
Uh,
I'm telling you, he was my teacher.
It
So
must be cool though, seeing that you taught someone and they're really good. You know, like it's good.
yeah, this was a way better player than I am right now.
thanks.
Like he's way better than I am.
Wow.
We heard it here first.
Like no, for real, he and
The
Rachel
prodigy,
are
like-
way better than I am. But again,
Yeah.
I had to move on to other things.
Yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
gotta
So
learn-
like
you
if
gotta
I
learn fields, yeah.
exactly like if I was just straight playing drums,
Huge.
then he wouldn't even touch me right now.
Hey,
But you know what I mean? But like
we'll have a drum up if
This
anything.
but like but it's been cool for me because like I've also seen like other kids that I've taught that like now are like in their teens, and they'd be like, oh yeah, he was my drum teacher, and I'm like, damn, like you're like a grown ass kid now, and like either they're playing or not, but like they still have the memory of like, oh yeah,
And it's kinda
this
cool
dude was
because-
teaching me.
You don't know it, but there's some kids that look up to you too. Like
Oh,
not to sound like
definitely.
kind of
Yeah,
corny
yeah,
and all,
yeah.
but some kids are like, "Whoa, dude, he plays like this, that."
I remember that too.
Like,
In
it's-
my
it's
church,
nice,
my mom
you
would
know,
tell me,
it's
like,
cool.
Oh, el hijo de esta hermano dice que quiere tocar la guitarra como tú.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's like for me, I don't know what to say. I'm like, oh, well, I'm still learning.
It's funny
Like,
to
it's
me
like
though,
it's-
because like I know a lot of the parents of like I grew up with a lot of the parents of the
Yeah.
kids that are in my church now.
Yeah, so like they saw you when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they look at me and they're like, oh, I want to play, and I'm like, all right. And then I look at the parents and I'm like, hey, they say they want to come play. When are you gonna bring them? You know what I mean? And I'm just very like straight with them. And they're like,
Right.
oh, I'll just let me figure things out, and then and I'm like, all right, cool. Wait till your mama brings you, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, but you must have patience if.
Oh, you gotta have patience.
Yeah,
bro.
you have to have patience, man.
Because when
But
you're teaching the kid, they get irritated.
yeah.
Like they get very mad.
bro, not even
quick.
the kid, bro. Grown ass people get
Girls,
irritated.
yeah,
too.
still,
I
yeah.
can't
Like,
teach you.
they-
I just like even just the basic stuff. It's just
Uh-huh.
hard because it's like I remember I struggled. You know, like
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like
We
you
all
know,
been there, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, but I give the adults crap. Like I don't give the kids crap because they're
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
But I give the adults crap because sometimes they talk to me and they're like, oh, well, like like with the whole COVID thing, they're like, like, oh, we couldn't do classes anymore and everything. And then,
Like,
you know, we talk, and I'm like, hey, so, like, you know, when are you going to come play the guitar, you know, or when are you going to play whatever instrument that they're like, oh, no, like, you know, well, the teacher didn't show up anymore. You know, and I'm their teacher. They're like, oh, teachers didn't show up anymore. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Did you practice what I taught you, though? No? All right, so it's not my fault. Like, I taught you. You just didn't do the work, so that's not
you
on
didn't
me.
practice at home.
Yeah.
You got to do your part.
Yeah.
You know.
That's sick, man. Well, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
For sure.
Sure.
I really enjoyed this
This is
conversation.
Yeah, it's-
this is our last podcast of the year.
Of the year, wow.
Yeah, man.
Last
one
one
for
for
the
the
year.
year.
And still more to come for you guys, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Hey, I feel like we should get a sponsorship from what people think of, like from like a Christian one. We talk a lot about God and stuff.
It's weird. It's cool.
Cuando
dude.
biblioteca ya we're doing a podcast. Oh, déjenos escuchar un episodio. Ah.
He's like,
No,
it's like
no.
we were born in the Christian family, but you know we were raised differently, but
Be like the
we
Spanish,
just like
the Spanish branch of the Bad Christian Podcast.
yeah, basically pretty much. It's like
Sin filtro.
Sin filtro.
we're-
Iglesia
we're-
sin filtro.
We're the black sheep, if
What's
anything.
crazy is that for a while, what we're doing, Pedro Pat was doing.
Oh yeah.
Remember, he has to have a little radio.
Oh yeah. He used to have the
yeah.
radio station. Yeah, the radio show.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, look, they're gonna say something, and they're like, oh, shout outs to Gabe, it's his birthday today. Like,
He's like,
that's
"Fuck."
dope. So then I was like, okay,
Didn't your dad have a station for a bit too?
no,
No.
No.
Thought you were on
one of my cousins did.
I remember that.
Now,
Oh, the cousin that rented your church. Him.
Oh,
isn't Roberto doing a podcast too now?
Oh.
Ibarra. I've been seeing this stuff on
Think,
Facebook.
Maybe, I think so. Maybe he might be.
Shut up, pura.
Off the record.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
no, thanks guys. This has
No,
been
thanks, man.
our last
Thanks for having us.
podcast of the year. We're
Thanks
gonna
for
have
having
to next year is probably gonna take us we're gonna have to invest more because that piece of shit fucking mixture sucks.
Hey,
ass,
man,
so we're
hey,
probably gonna buy
baby
a
steps,
better
bro.
one.
Honestly.
And then
Just-
buy more mics
We'll
and
be on
shit.
Twitch.
And then we'll be on Twitch and we'll have the more cameras too.
Oh, and don't forget your OnlyFans.
Yeah, too.
A holy only.
You just
The
started
holy OnlyFans.
the unholy fans.
For $1 a day, you get a scripture. A scripture of
No,
your
es
choice.
ofrenda, dude.
The scripture. The scripture on a pass.